Nice to have you with me here on The Doctor Is In.
You have always been a voice of reason through all of this.
Appreciate your time, what you're doing for America.
I give you advice, and it doesn't work at all.
You are definitely not inept by any means.
I like to hear women say that about me.
Whatever advice you're going to send my way, I am 100% taking it.
I can't tell you what to do. I will not tell you what to do.
Okay. Well, thanks.
That wasn't the answer I wanted.
Are you kidding me?
Great stuff, Dr. Ray. I'm glad I called.
I've scheduled my day around listening to your radio show.
You don't have to laugh so hard.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Tell me more. I see. I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm not sure that's exactly what you want to choose. I can't go with that. It's one option. What might be another? Are you sure that... What? We're on the air. Oh, I didn't even hear the music. I was just doing show prep. People say, well, you got to get in there to do show prep. I was doing show prep. I was doing lip stretches. Yesterday, I came on the air without doing any kind of show prep like that or lip stretches, and I pulled something. Right there like that. And I don't know if any of you noticed in the latter part of the calls on the program, I was a little more like this when I was talking because I stretched it pretty bad. And at my age, that happens. So you gotta work it a little bit and say things like, I see. People say, are you retired? I go, no, I'm semi-retired. For example, somebody came in my office years ago, about every 4 minutes, I would say, tell me more. Well, now I do that about every 8 minutes. Tell me more. Most of them just have a blank look. So that's semi-retired, not doing it as frequently as I used to. But here on the program, no therapy, no diagnosis, no stepping in another therapist's turf. We can educate, we can talk, you and I. I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk for a while, and then I'll interrupt. Yeah. Somebody said that to me in an email. Don't interrupt your callers. Well, you got to sometimes get to it. You got to find out where we're going with this. But I try not to interrupt. I try to listen attentively. You can't tell I'm listening attentively. All you hear is silence. But if you saw my face, you would see an interested look, an empathic look. The number, 877. You got that part? 877. 573. 7825. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the number to call to get onto the program with a question or a comment, a particular one or a generic one, something that has flummoxed you, something that you're wanting another thought on. Be glad to do that. Now, I noticed something yesterday. I was talking to Andrew Kruchek, my producer man, and Eric Dumont, my call screamer man. And I noticed I said something about the middle of the show where I said, well, we have open lines. And at that point, a number of calls quickly came in. And I got to thinking. Because people will say this. Very routinely, they will say, thank you for taking my call. And I want to say, well, I didn't take your call. Eric Dumont did. But I think they believe that if they don't call at a certain time, they're never going to get on. We have we got 9 lines on this program. So you have all kinds of chances to get through, no matter when you call. We've had people call. Sometimes we've had 2 or 3 calls with about 10 minutes left on the program. And I know what they're doing. They're taking advantage of my soft-hearted rule that says if you're on the phone at the end of the program, you can call back future programs in your first up. Pretty twicky. But many people call at the very top of the program because they think, okay, I got to get on there. Yes, I invite you to do that, but you have pretty close to an equal chance whenever you call. We have a lot of lines, and we're open. And oftentimes what happens is people drop, but we don't know why they drop. I think the main reason is, I like to think the main reason is they have someplace to be. They pulled into the parking lot. Cell phone dropped. I'm a little worried that it's because, no, I've listened to this guy long enough. I think I'm going to go. So the number, 877-57 equal. 877-57 equal is the number to call to get onto the program. Got a whole bunch of stuff coming up, and I know it wouldn't seem like this, but I'm always reluctant to push my own stuff. Oftentimes I say every 8 to 9 months I release another book. And I don't say too much about it on the air. Maybe one time, one program, I'll say my most recent book is this. But that's it. I'm nervous about doing it. It's kind of like I never let my kids go to other people and ask them to buy candy bars so that they could do whatever they're going to do for their little league team or whatever it is. I said, hey, guys, I'll buy the candy bars. I don't want you to go to people and say, hey, give me money. And that's kind of what I feel like when I say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now, my wife says, Ray, if it's something that you think can help somebody, then do it. You're not promoting yourself. I think there's a real danger in over promotion. But there are a couple of things I've been talking about, and then there's another one coming up that's pretty big, and I have yet to announce it, but it concerns Father Larry Richards and I. And I know many of you love Father Larry. He is the most popular segment on Living Right with Dr. Ray. So at some point down the road here, we're going to talk about a venture that Father Larry and I are embarking upon, and then going to invite a lot of people. But I probably should say something pretty soon because we're almost half full. All that said, 877-57 equal is the number to call to get onto the program. Love to hear from you. Please give me a call. I started playing softball when I was 20 or 21 years old. At that time, you did a lot of stuff outside. We didn't have computers. We didn't have video games. Pong, the video game, if many of you can remember Pong, it came out when I was in college. As a freshman at Case is when Pong came out. Played ball. That's what we did. We played ball. There were times in the summertime when I was in my late 20s that I practiced 6 days a week. I wasn't blessed with phenomenal talent, but I made the most of what I had through hard practices. I was 28. I think I was 28. I took over the coaching job of my team because we had gone through 2 or 3 coaches and they got too frustrated trying to corral guys. So I took over coaching. I did that for decades. When you coach a softball team, you got to make in-game decisions. Things come up. You got to make a strategy. Here's a common scenario. We're ahead by 1 run. The other team is at bat. It's the bottom of the 7th. In softball, that's the last inning. It's the bottom of the 7th. They're batting. There are 2 outs. They have runners on 2nd and 3rd. Now, a single most likely will score the man from 2nd. Easily from 3rd, but probably from 2nd, and they would win. It's the bottom of the 7th. We don't get a chance to bat again. They would win by a run. 2 outs, men on 2nd and 3rd. Their best hitter is coming to the plate. I signal from left field, which is where I used to play when I was young and fast, until I went to the mound and became the old guy on the mound. I signal to him, walk him. In other words, deliberately put him on first base. An intentional walk, it's called. He goes to first. Now, there are runners on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Now, those of you who are not familiar with softball, you might say, why would you put another guy on base? Because you're trying to get a force out. Now, I know some people say, what's a force out? Suffice it to say, putting him on first gives you a force out, meaning all you have to do is step on the bag before the runner gets there, either at home, at third, at second, or at first, and the game is over. If you have men on second and third, and let's say he hits a ground ball to the shortstop and the shortstop bobbles it, and he beats it out to first, the men on second and third don't have to run. They're not forced to run. So the move to make, of course, is to walk him, especially since he's such a great hitter. The guy behind him is Ofer, as it's called, and this is interesting. This is no offense to my dear priest friends, and I don't know where this phrase came from. So far, he's taken the collar. That means he's Ofer. He's batted 4 times. He hasn't got a hit. So we pitch to him. He promptly rockets a shot to left center, deep in the gap. Both runners score from second and third. The guy from first doesn't have to score. As soon as the winning run crosses the plate, game's over. We lose. Did I make the wrong move? We lost. Maybe I should have pitched to their best hitter. Maybe he would have flown out or popped up, hit a ground ball and thrown out at first. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to ask him next time we play him. Did I make the wrong move? No. By all strategy, that was by far the smart move. Did it work out? No. Many people believe, falsely, that you'll see if you made the right move by how it works out. That's not necessarily true at all. You can make the right move. Morally speaking, you can make the right move. Raising your kids, deciding what to do when he's 19 and he's uncooperative, you can make the right move. Or the move you think is best given your judgment. And it blows up in your face. That doesn't mean you second guess the move. You say, at the time, I did what I thought was best. Who was it? It was Matt Fradd. Matt and I were doing a talk somewhere, and he got that Australian accent. And I think that just makes him sound 15 IQ points higher. I got to work on it. Matt said, you have any regrets as a parent? And I said, no, I don't think so. And Matt says, how can you say that? You can't possibly think you are the perfect parent. I said, not at all, not even close. But it depends what you mean by regrets. Now, aren't I starting to sound like a shrink? By regrets, if you mean I kind of deliberately did something that I knew or suspected was not in my kid's best interest, but I did it anyway, that'd be a regret. But if you're saying I had to make decisions based upon what I knew at that time, knowing that I couldn't see the future perfectly, then given all that, I can't say I have regrets. Well, Matt was still stunned. He was absolutely still stunned. I saw him a year or two later in the airport, and he said, I thought about what you said, and I understand it now. And I wanted to say, that's because your kids are getting older, Matt. That's why. So don't ever fall into the trap of, in fact, if you make the right move, it's going to turn out well. I don't think Jesus ever made a wrong move. Do you? How did it turn out for him? 877-573-7825. Dr. Ray.
Now, wait a second. Let's talk this over. I'm not a rabbi for nothing, you know. I think I have a solution. Just wait a second.
Don't let everyone else get all the great advice. Call now to speak with Dr. Ray.
God has given each of us one life to live, and caring for our health is one way we can honor that gift. At Healthy Lifetime, we help you age with confidence, fulfillment, and the ability to enjoy what matters most. That's why our personalized health coaching for aging adults is built around listening, understanding, and helping achieve your goals. Visit HealthyLifetimeInc.com/Ave Maria to sign up. That's HealthyLifetimeInc.com/Ave Maria.
We look out on mountain landscapes and long to be somehow part of them. We look at a painting or read a book, and we are drawn into it. It moves us, even changes us. We look in the mirror in the morning, wondering what others will think of us, how they will respond to us. We text, we TikTok, we Facebook, we email, we fall in love. We think that for the love not to be reciprocated is the end of the world. We live to be significant for an other or many others. Loneliness is the greatest burden we carry. No wonder, then, that until 1890, the significant conversations of history make no mention of the thing called the right to privacy. No wonder, then, that wherever the term is used, the shadow of death is in the background. Because man was made to belong, privacy destroys who and what he is. If we understand a right as that which is necessary for the fulfillment of human nature, we must conclude this: the right to privacy does not exist. GuadalupeWorkers.org.
Hi, this is Vanessa Denhagarmo. As a mom, I've always wanted to give my daughter every advantage. That's why we turned to Sylvan Learning, and I truly saw a difference in her confidence, skills, and academic performance. Today, Sylvan offers personalized one-on-one academic coaching online from home. Whether your child is struggling, catching up, or wants to get ahead, Sylvan will create a learning plan designed specifically for them. Visit mysylvancoach.com to learn more.
Expanding your super ego while shrinking your id, a little Freudian lingo there. Dr. Ray Guarendi here. Program Doctor is in. Co-production, EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network and Ave Maria Radio Communications. Rose is calling from New York. By any other name, I'm still going to call her Rose. Thanks for calling, Rose.
Hi, Dr. Ray. I have a predicament. My husband found out he had
Rose.
problems with this.
Nobody ever calls me when they don't have a predicament.
True.
Okay, go ahead.
My husband found out he had heart trouble in March, and he took retirement, but didn't tell me. And then in April, when he woke up and he was so dizzy he fell. I wanted to call an ambulance, and he was like, "No, I'm fine." Well, he left the house. By the time he got himself to the hospital, he had 3 heart attacks and had to have stents put in. Yep.
How old is he, Rose?
He's continuing to lie.
How old is he, Rose?
He turned 60 right after the heart attacks, a few days after he had the heart attacks.
When you looked at your husband, did you think to yourself in the last few years, I really don't like the way he lives, the way his weight is, whatever it is. He's a risk. Or did you say, no, this was completely out of the blue?
Oh, no. He had work addiction, so I've been worried about him for about 20 years.
That's a long time to worry. Okay. So he decided to retire. He figured, and given that he had work addiction, why do you think he retired?
Oh, he didn't have a choice. His job wouldn't take him back because of the heart.
Oh.
And so they started his pension. Yep.
Oh. Did he want to retire?
Yeah. But the doctor, no, because he's already talking about getting a job.
Okay. All right. Well, why do you think he didn't tell you he was taking retirement?
He said he wanted to settle everything first. I mean, he looked into funerals and everything.
Whoa!
So, but he's got a whole lot of things that have to get settled, and he needs help with it, and he refuses help. So, he's got me at a loss. Like, I feel really helpless right now.
Well, has he always been this kind of, I'm a self-made man, I can handle it?
Yep. Yep.
So this is just, for him, this is a dramatic identity change. He probably figured he was young, strong, tough, he can handle it, and all of a sudden he finds himself with a heart damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. But he won't.
And I don't know what to do.
Well, yeah, I wish I did too. Have you confronted him? Have you said, why are you not telling me these things?
Well, that's it. Well, that's what he said. I just was trying to put everything in order. He even tried to hide the heart attack because he drove himself to the hospital.
That was really, really dumb. So,
yeah, I know.
So his attitude is all of a sudden he's thinking, I don't know how much longer I have. That seems to be the about face that he's done from 6 months ago when he thought he was going to work forever to now staring at the cliff.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Is he doing it? Okay, let's look at it this way. Rose, is he doing it personally? In other words, is he saying, Rose, you don't have any business to know why I'm doing any of this? Or is he scared?
I'm thinking he's more scared because if you ask him, he'll answer. But if you don't ask, he doesn't tell you.
He don't want to talk about it.
But he's always kind of been that kind of person.
You don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Is he rating your retirement account? In other words, he's pulling it out so fast that in 2 years from now there won't be anything left?
No, it's a once-a-month check right now.
Okay.
But he's looking at it as, you know, he had to be helicoptered, and that was an expense. He's just looking at all the extra expenses medically, and I mean, I've done what I could.
Let me
I've
ask
got
you this.
antiques, and I'm willing to sell my antiques to help him. But he's right now. I'm like, I mean, we have a house. I'm like, we should sell. We have more than one house. I'm like, we should sell one of them. But he doesn't even want to do that until it's fixed up.
Let's look at it this way, Rose. Is whatever he's doing a threat to your financial well-being?
Yes, because that's what I'm worried about. If something happens to him, he's going to leave a big mess for me. Which is why I want to collapse everything
what
now
kind of a mess here? Wait, Rose, I'm lost here. What kind of a mess? If you're saying he's only taken one check out and he's looking to get another job, what kind of a mess is he leaving you in?
Credit cards. He's got 4 credit cards up to the hilt.
Oh, okay. Now that is a mess. Okay. His explanation for that? So
yeah, that with the medical bills, it's a problem.
Well, you got no insurance?
Yeah, he's got insurance. But they still have he's got like a $10,000 deductible.
All right. But
so we got payments for the helicopter and
4 credit cards maxed out. I mean, the average credit card's 15 to 20 to 25 grand ceiling, and you got 4 of them maxed out. That's a lot of money, and you're saying that's all medical?
No, no, he bought a lot of toys for himself over the years.
See, now we're getting to it.
That was one of the things because that was part of the work addiction too. Because he said he liked nice things, you know. All
right. So this is a style, a pattern, and it's only shifted because he's got a new stressor in his life, which is his health. So because of that, he's continuing to be, I guess as you describe it, financially irresponsible. Only now there's a new brick on the pile. Rose, if he's digging in his heels and he's not telling you, I don't know what to tell you. You can push him. You can say, look, I'm not going to let you do this to us. If something happens to you, I'm going to be buried in a hole. Now, are you going to leave me this way or not? I think he's got to know that this isn't just something you're going to say, oh, yeah, I wish he wouldn't do that. That, in fact, you're going to tell him, you can't bury me like this. And then see if you can move him. And if he looks at you and says, I'll handle it. I'll take care of it. I want to take care of all of it. Wow. You're running up against a cinder block wall here, my dear. And if that doesn't go anywhere, you're going to have to find a way to not be so fret-filled about this. Whew. All righty. Yikes. How's that for a psychology answer? Yikes. Okay, a couple of announcements here. Shameless self-promotion. Good Lord permitting, August 18th and 19th, we will be down in Atlanta shooting 4 shows of Living Right with Dr. Ray. Actually, this isn't self-promotion. This is an invite. I've been saying multiple times here in the last, say, month or so, maybe more, how we would love to have you in the audience if you're in the Atlanta area, or even if you love me and you drive from Arkansas. The show is August 18th and 19th. There's 4 of them, 2 each night, 5:30, 7:15. The audience is an absolutely integral part of the program. People in the audience, we interact. It is not you sit there and I just talk and you sit there and you look like you're interested and you try not to fall asleep. Nope. You ask questions, you play bits, you role play with me sometime if you wish. We have the kids there. Please bring the kids. Love having the kids in the audience. We have a psychologist there in case there's an emergency eruption, temper fit. If you go to thequestatlanta.com, there is the register right under the banner. Holy Spirit Catholic Church, I think it's northern part of Atlanta, August 18th and 19th. We got some decent numbers now, but you want to have at least 100 people for each program. You got 100 people, the energy level is sky high. And, of course, makes it a lot more fun for everybody. If you want to come to both shows, you certainly can. You can come to all 4 if you want. Some people do. They have no life. No. But we feed you with some food in between. We recognize that. We don't have loaves and fishes, but we probably have pizza or something. So you go to thequestatlanta.com. All right. I want to talk a little bit more about, let me give you the number 2, because right now we have open lines. 877-573-7825, right smack in a little past the middle of the program. So I certainly would want to hear from you. I had a family member tell my wife and I once we had to make a very painful decision. And this decision affected certain family members. And one member said, well, we'll see if you did the right thing. How it turns out. Now, to paraphrase what I said with Matt Fradd, depends what you mean by right thing. You could do the morally right thing and you get persecuted for it. So that isn't turning out. Of course, it is if you believe our Lord, because he said, when you're persecuted because of me, rejoice and be glad. So you could say that that's the right outcome. But in our human thinking, we don't like a bad outcome. We don't like other people assaulting us verbally or however they assault us because we made a moral decision. We get attacked verbally, or you've had many calls on this program where the reason that the caller decides to make the decision they do is because it's based in their deepest held morals, and they risk a family member or members cutting off contact because of that. Not going to a same-sex attraction wedding, or not approving of a certain decision somebody has made. They didn't attack it. They just didn't celebrate it, and that was enough to get them persecuted. But from our Lord's perspective, they did the right thing. But to expect it to get good results in terms of social positive feedback, we'll forget that. Now, if it's not a moral issue, let's say you're putting your house up for sale. You get an offer. It's around what you wanted. So you take it. A couple months goes by, and you realize that had you held out, you could have got a better deal. Did you make a bad move? Didn't get the price you wanted, and you might have gotten a better price if you'd have waited. But how can you know that? You decided, all things considered, this is what we're going to do. You could second guess about every decision you make if it doesn't work out the way you want. I remember I was about 34 when I finally severed my last connection with the mental health center in Lisbon. I had slowly reduced my hours as I took on more consulting and a few other career options. And I remember going home and telling my wife, well, honey, we got to hope the phone rings because I don't have any income backup. Now, at that time, I had some private practice and I had some consultantships, but they certainly weren't anything that you would say is a guaranteed income. Those consultantships could dry up. Did I make the right move? I don't know. Now, as it turned out, long term I did, certainly. I've been my own boss, well, with the exception of now getting on Catholic radio now where I got 27 bosses. But for the longest time, I was my own boss and I set my own schedule. I didn't know when I first did that if it was going to be working out. I made the decision. There's something called a what if. What ifs generally point toward the future. What if this happens? What if we send him to college and he loses his faith? What if we finally make him leave the house at age 24 and he can't find a place to live? What if he falls in with a bad crowd? What if he gets depressed? What if he cuts ties with us? There's a what ifs all point to the future, but they point to the past also. What if I would have done X instead of Y? Well, you can't know because you didn't do Y. If X isn't turning out as you would hope, you can't say, well, why would it turned out better? You don't know that. All you can say is, if we'd have done Y and followed it through, we would know for certain how it would have worked out. But other than that, since you didn't take Y, if your son goes to college and loses his faith, and you say, what if we would have sent him to a different college? Would he have lost his faith? Well, obviously it depends upon which college you choose, but for the most part, if it's between two equally secular colleges and he goes to college and loses his faith, and you say, well, what if we'd have had him go to the other college? Well, what if? You don't know. You can't know. He didn't go to the other college. But we have this propensity to second guess ourselves. What ifing backward is what I call it. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the number. We got time to take you on. Give me a call. This is Dr. Ray. If you're reluctant to call with a personal question, you can always say, yeah, there's this person in our neighborhood. Not real sure about him. Seen him on the news. Okay, what do we got here? We got Aaron from Lincoln, Nebraska. That's Spirit Catholic Radio Turf. Hi, Aaron.
Yes. Hello.
What you got going, sir?
So one thing I've been struggling with, my wife has depression, anxiety, and there's been, I would say, multiple occasions, happens typically weekly, where she comes home from work and that wall's just up, where no communication, doesn't want to talk. And I'm just really struggling. I'm trying to figure out a way to break down that wall, communicate, and I'm just looking for some advice on that.
Is she that way with everybody or just you?
With everybody. She's very much an introvert, doesn't like to socialize, doesn't like to go out. So,
but she can navigate work.
She navigates work, yes.
Do you get a sense that she's comfortable at work and she likes going to work?
No, at times it varies from month to month, but at times she was like, I need to switch jobs or something like that.
Right.
And I a lot of times I just tell her to stick it out, keep doing what she's doing, because it's just her background. And
do you get hit when you try to give her advice that implies you don't understand what I'm dealing with, you don't understand me, it's not helping me, you don't get it?
Yes. Just because I don't have the same issues mentally, not issues, but same feelings maybe. I don't know the best word to say for that.
How long have you been married?
It's going to be, let's see, we're going on 11 years now.
Always been this way from the beginning?
Now, so.
Been this way from the beginning? She always struggled with depression, anxiety?
She's had it since high school, so it's, I think it has been brought more on in recent years. We have 2 kids, so that brings in another level of stress at times. So.
She's not willing to go talk to somebody, potentially look into medication or therapy. She's unwilling to do that?
No, she regularly talks to someone on medication. However, she has to switch medication from time to time, and sometimes that adds another piece to it.
So she's under the care of someone?
Correct.
Okay. So how does she explain that she's not getting any better?
I'm not personally in those meetings. I don't go to those.
How does she explain it to you?
She doesn't like to talk about it as much, and personally to me. So,
how does she mother the kids if she's struggling through depression and anxiety? How does that affect her motherhood?
At times, she isolates herself from us, so it does create a stress. She does have a favorite child, which then that puts another stress on the other child. So,
about the only thing I think you can do to get her to open up to you, Aaron, is to not give her advice because she doesn't want to hear it, because you don't understand, but to ask her questions. Things like, do you feel bad when you can't be the mom you want to be? What would you want to do about that? Your anxiety's so much, is it so bad that you feel you can't function, or that you can function, but it would just be unpleasant? In other words, you're trying to understand how she's gotten herself in this cycle, what it is that she's basically so miserable or discontent with life. Is it safe to say that?
Okay.
In other words, okay, so you've been married 11 years. This happened in high school. So this is something that you've seen over 15 years.
Yeah, it's just she pretty much, I knew about when we were dating, but I feel like it didn't take on a new level to after we had children. So
that and she's in her mind, she's juggling a job and motherhood and kids, and she probably feels totally overwhelmed. And you could ask her about that. Do you feel totally overwhelmed by all this? Do you doubt your motherhood? Do you doubt that you can do both well, and therefore you just want to shut down? In other words, hopefully she will answer your questions about all this. Don't give advice. You already know, you've been giving her advice for a long time, and you already know how she reacts to it. So don't give her advice. But just attempt to say, I really want to get a good grip on what is happening with you, why you're discontent, what this depression is, where does the anxiety come from, why is this happening, what is it that one child is easier to relate to than the other child, do you feel guilty about that? I mean, you're just going to come up with questions, and if you don't know what to ask, Aaron, each of her answers will give you an opening for another question. It will.
Okay.
If she says something like, "Well, the people at work, I just try to ignore them because they're just a bunch of boo birds, and I don't want to get involved in their drama." All right, okay, that's a good thing. So how do you stay away from their drama? Does that drama get to you? Or do you feel like you have to be pulled in, or they will exclude you? What do they do because of the drama toward you? In other words, you're coming across like, honey, I want to understand this. I just want to understand it. Maybe that'll soften her. Maybe that'll get her to open it up, as opposed to the dynamic you got going right now, which is, Aaron's going to tell me to do this, and Aaron's going to tell me to do that. And, really, I don't want to hear it. And he doesn't understand because he doesn't deal with what I deal with. He's a different person. This stuff doesn't get to him, but it gets to me. So some of this advice he gives me, it doesn't work. And I don't want to be nagged. Does that sound a little bit like her attitude?
It does a little bit. And then at times then I'm just like, okay, maybe I should not speak at all. And so then I'm silent for a while.
Well, yeah, because you're not speaking because she rejects your advice. She can't reject questions. The most she can say is, "What are you doing? I don't want to answer all this." Okay, all right, I'll back off. But I just really kind of want to understand where you're at with all this. That's all. I just want to know. So whatever I can do to help. Oh, good luck, Aaron. This is Dr. Ray. I'll be back.
I'm Matthew Handley. Join me on Saturday mornings as we take a look at our community and world from a Catholic perspective on Michigan Mornings Saturday. We'll discuss local news, touch on our weather forecast, feature interviews and original content, plus look at the best segments of the week from Ave Maria Radio. Saturdays at 8 a.m. is Michigan Mornings Saturday on Ave Maria Radio.
Are you walking the path that leads to Christ? We find him in scripture, in church tradition, music, art, architecture, writings, nature, and in each other. My parents planted seeds, and over time they grew. The deeper we grow in faith, the more we see God in everyday life. At least that's been my experience. So what's your path to Christ? Are you reading the Bible every day? If you don't know where to start, open up the Gospels and read them every day for a year. Spend time in prayer, speaking with the Lord. Sit in adoration, in silence, waiting to hear his voice. Treat others as you'd like to be treated. In other words, be kind. Forgive others as you seek forgiveness, and be grateful for your blessings. Count them in the mornings, and before you sleep, examine your conscience and plan to do better tomorrow as you seek out to be the best version of yourself. This has been a Christ-Centered Communication message. I'm Vanessa Denha-Garmo, a communications evangelist and host of Epiphany.
At Glass Doctor, our trained specialists are experts at fixing foggy and cracked glass, leaving any residential window looking like new without replacing the entire window. Bring back the view of any window with Glass Doctor. Visit glassdoctor.com to request a free estimate on repairing your foggy or cracked windows. Let Glass Doctor bring back your view.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint. Oh, yeah!
Mark from Fargo. By the way, this was a question last night in trivia. There is only one state capital which ends in 3 consonants. It is Bismarck. Bismarck. R-C-K, 3 consonants. We thought of Bismarck, and I didn't realize it was spelled C-K. I thought it was just spelled a K. Mark calling from Fargo wants to give me an update. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Dr. Ray. First, did I hear you call yourself Dr. Smarty Pants today or yesterday?
Oh, yeah. But I was quoting somebody else saying to me, okay, Mr. Dr. Smarty Pants. Yeah.
Oh, that's so you could be the runner-up this year for the Humility Award?
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. It was kind of self-deprecating humor.
Hey, I have a good update. Just brief background for those to catch up. I called you and told you I was dating a woman who is a good, virtuous woman. We have a virtuous relationship. We would like to get married at some point in the fullness of time, and she's not Catholic. And you suggested that I ask her some gentle questions. Would you be open to learning more about the Catholic faith? And she said she would. And we went to one of the good parishes here in the Diocese of Fargo. And there's something called, I think, the Order of Christian Initiation for Adults, which I learned, Dr. Ray, is not only for those who have made a decision to enter the faith, but for anyone who wants to learn more about the faith, Catholic or non-Catholic. And she and I have attended 2 sessions, and it is going wonderfully. And so I wanted to share that good news with you, and thank you.
Well, I have to tell you, you are the second person who has called me in the last, I believe, 8 months who have said that your advice worked out. So that's pretty comforting to hear. I mean, you need that kind of ongoing affirmation. You know, every 6-8 months, somebody says, yeah, what you said was helpful. Okay.
Well, 3's a charm, so we still have time in 2026, so maybe you'll get a third one, Dr. Ray.
Ooh, that is stretching it. That's getting kind of tight there, Mark. I'll do my best.
Okay, and before you let me go, and I am not trying to get off the phone because I know you have callers who kind of drop you when they get bored or whatever. I am not that caller.
They drop me when I'm talking. Go ahead.
Well, that's because they're bored. Just kidding, Dr. Ray. Okay, so my question now is how does a couple know when it's time for them to get married? And please don't say 6 months, 9 months, because that's very artificial. Because
it is.
Because someone can spend every day with someone. I mean,
that's true.
Waking hours, and then.
Well, you don't ignore red flags, Mark. You don't ignore red flags.
Well, I'm not seeing, even though I am a little colorblind, Dr. Ray, I can see red, and I haven't seen any red flags. So I'm just going to be quiet and listen to you.
So, in fact, if things seem to be smoothly and you don't pick up on things that you'd say to yourself, oh, I didn't see that before, or what do I do if that continues? You don't see that, and you're older. That's a factor, too. When you're older,
I am older.
You can say that the time frame to get to know somebody who's more settled in their personality might be a little shorter. And in the end, you're stepping out kind of in faith to this person because, as you said, you can't totally know them. You can't know how they're going to react to all the stresses and strains that might come up in a marriage with in-laws and all of that. However, you do have to make that judgment. And I would say the best thing is time. Time and no red flags. Mark, I got to run. I got to get one more call in here. Thank you, sir. Okay, we got a grandma who didn't keep her mouth shut. Ha! And now she's in big trouble. Hi, Grandma. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I think we're not going to have enough time for my answer that I need.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got 2 minutes, and if we don't give you a little nugget, you call back, and you'll immediately be the first one up. Okay, so here's what I know. You told your son that his discipline was a little extreme because one of it was you can't go see your grandparents. And you said that was extreme. You didn't agree with it. And he now says, be quiet. And not only be quiet, but I don't want you in my life. Is that right?
Basically, he's distanced himself. But it wasn't, my grandson is 14. This happened, he was 13. He went to live with his mom because they have shared custody, but now he went full-time to live with his mom about a year ago. Mm-hmm. So my son lost all, rights to the decisions that my ex-daughter-in-law is making. Anyway, so he does see her parents, and he does see my ex-husband and his wife. But he was trying to stop him from seeing me because I didn't agree with the way he was saying, well, his discipline was you can't see the grandma in Ohio.
Okay.
And I haven't seen him for 2 years.
Yeah.
He lives in another state. Yeah. And so I said, well, that's not the way you discipline a child. You're punishing me.
Well, you didn't anticipate that he would get that upset with you giving your opinion.
Right. But he should know I do give my opinion. I do tell the truth on how I feel about matters. And I think he's trying to just control his life and maybe control me. But I disobeyed, so to speak. And my grandson did come here for a week, and it was a wonderful, wonderful time together. But my son, I don't even know if he knows that. I think he does. But
well, I think your best move here is to talk with Mom. She's the one.
I have been.
Okay.
I have been, and she agreed to everything. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you're okay.
May I say something else? Years ago, he wanted, like when they first got divorced, he wanted me to have no contact with her. And I'm a people person. I always want to know both sides of the story. But I listened to him because I didn't want him mad at me. So now that I've been talking to her, make the arrangements for the flight schedule and everything, then I knew the whole story of what exactly happened.
You call me back, dear. We are totally out of time. But I think what you're tapping into is you've always had a strained relationship with your son, and this isn't just a one-time anger on his part. He's been percolating. Call me back. This is Dr. Ray. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it so very much. Walk with God.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.